Good evening. Director of Public Prosecutions Paula Llewellyn has pulled the death penalty as a sentencing option for Shane Barnett, the man from Trelawney charged for the June 21 murder of his cousin and her 4 children in Cocoa Peace, Chapelton, Clarendon. The bodies of Kimisha Wright and her 4 children, all of New Road, Cocoa Peace, Chapelton district in Clarendon, were discovered inside their home with chop wounds and their throats slashed on the morning of June 21 by another relative. Barnett reportedly fled the area to Wilson Run in Trelawney, where he was apprehended. He was charged 3 days later. Based on a caution statement he gave to the police, he pleaded guilty to murdering Kimisha Wright and her 4 children in July. Barnett is expected to learn his fate for the crime in just under a month. Barnett is set to be officially sentenced on October 20. Barnett, for whom prosecutors originally sought the death penalty, pleaded guilty to 5 counts of murder when he appeared before the Supreme Court Justice Leighton Pusey in July. At a sentencing hearing this morning, Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP Paula Llewellyn, withdrew the death penalty as an option. Barnett's guilty plea, the DPP said, automatically ruled it out as an option. She recommended that the 23-year-old serve 60 years and 9 months on each count of murder before being eligible for parole. According to Llewellyn, a lesser sentence would shock the public conscience. DPP Llewellyn said that the penalty would be justified given the ages of the victims and the manner in which they were killed. The victims, his cousin, 31-year-old Kimisha Wright and her children, 15-year-old Kimanda Smith, 12-year-old Sharalee Smith, 5-year-old Rafaela Smith, and 23-month-old Kishawn Henry Jr. were stabbed multiple times. Their throats were also slashed. DPP Llewellyn, during the sentencing hearing, also said that the court is seeking to move quickly in closing the case against Barnett, as it was a very heinous matter that energized public repulsion. In the meantime, defense attorney Tamika Harris recommended that Barnett receive a sentence of 45 years before being eligible for parole, arguing that he saved the state a lot of resources with his early admission of guilt. Our news team spoke with Kimisha's mother, Gwendolyn White McKnight, who is also the 4 deceased children's grandmother. She expressed her disappointment with Barnett's attorney, Miss Harris.
The sentence was today, and it ended up put off again for the 20th of October. And I am so disappointed in Miss Harris that have my nephew case, because she is pleading for my nephew, and she didn't know that or see that the mother of the daughter and the grandchildren is hurting, is pain all over her. She is crying tears day and night, and she is pleading for the murderer. Huh? You want the murderer to get 45 years? Tell me now, if she did have a daughter and grandchildren that someone came and murdered, would she plead for them to give them 45 years? Would she plead for them to count down for the murderer? I would like to ask her that, because I guess she don't have a child, so she don't know the pain and grief that a mother bear to carry her child.
Mrs. White McKnight questioned the heart and the lack of compassion of Barnett's lawyer.
The one daughter. The 3 boy cannot do what a daughter do, you know. Because if I am sick and lying down in the bed, the son them cannot come and tidy me up. but the daughter can do that. So I just want to ask Miss Harrison if she has a daughter and would know the grief and pain that a mother bear to bring her daughter, blow in buckle to bring her daughter, and the murderer just took her life, snatched her. So, just so, she never sick and die. That means say, you know, it's sickness. The boy just cut her off like that. She don't give her another breathing space that she could live.
Still making the news tonight, the Westmoreland Police, under the leadership of the parish's police commander, Senior Superintendent Wayne Joseph, toured several crime-stricken communities and met with residents in an effort to establish a more fruitful relationship between residents and the police. The parish of Westmoreland has seen a significant increase in murders since the start of the year, with the parish recording its 111th murder yesterday. The latest victim to be killed has been identified as 28-year-old Tashwayne Coke, laborer of Darliston community, also in Westmoreland. Reports from the police coming into our news center are that at about 3:30 p.m., Coke and two other men were traveling to a football match being held in the parish when a tire on the Toyota Voxy bus in which they were traveling got punctured. The driver stopped at a tire shop along the Petersfield Main Road, and while at that location, a man walked over to them, brandished a handgun, and opened fire, hitting Coke multiple times. The gunman escaped in the area. The police were summoned, and upon their arrival, Coke, who was discovered suffering from multiple gunshot wounds, was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. During the course of the week, the Westmoreland Parish Commander and other officers under his command visited a number of the communities where murders have been on the increase. He met with a number of residents from the community in an effort to build a more confidential bond between them and the police. Westmoreland has recorded the second highest total of murders within Area 1, led by St. James, and is among the top 5 parishes with the most murders in Jamaica. Continuing with the news tonight, the police in Clarendon have seized an estimated 900 pounds of compressed marijuana. 7 persons were taken into custody in relation to the find. The police say information was received and a team deployed. According to reports, 3 cars traveling in a convoy were seen along the Bustamante Highway yesterday morning. All 3 vehicles, including a grey Toyota Noah, were intercepted in the vicinity of the Cool Oasis service station and searched. According to the police, a large quantity of marijuana was discovered inside the Toyota Noah. The drugs were seized and the occupants of all 3 vehicles were arrested. The police say they are now in custody and are to be processed. Still tonight, the police are seeking the public's assistance to locate 46-year-old Kevin Caradis of Spanish Town Road, Kingston 11, who has been missing since Friday, September 16. Kevin is of dark complexion, slim build, and is about 5 feet 8 inches tall. Reports from the Hunts Bay Police are that Caradis was last seen at home at about 6 p.m. wearing a purple shirt and grey pants. He has not been heard from since. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Kevin Caradis is being asked to contact the Hunts Bay Police at 876-923-7111, Police Emergency 119, or the nearest police station. The police are also seeking the public's assistance to find 21-year-old Doniki Gale, a call center representative of St. John's Road, Spanish Town in St. Catherine, who has been missing since Monday, August 29. Doniki is of brown complexion, stout build, and is about 5 feet tall. Reports from the Spanish Town Police coming into our news center are that she was last seen at home at about 12 p.m. She has not been heard from since. Her mode of dress at the time she went missing is unknown. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Deniki Gale is being asked to contact the Spanish Town Police at 876-984-2305, Police Emergency 119, or the nearest police station. In the meantime, an Ananda alert has been activated for 17-year-old Carissa Heath of Quarry Hill, Spanish Town, St. Catherine, who has been missing since Sunday, September 18. She is of dark complexion, slim-build, and is about 5 feet 6 inches tall. Reports from the Spanish Town Police coming into our news center are that Carissa was last seen at home at about 11 p.m. Her mode of dress at the time she went missing is unknown. She has not been heard from since. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Carissa Heath is being asked to contact the Spanish Town Police at 876-984-2305, Police Emergency 119, or the nearest police station. And in light of the possibility of a weather system affecting the island on the weekend, fisher folk across the island are being advised to evacuate the Keys and Banks as severe weather is expected to spread over the country within the next 36 to 48 hours. In its latest bulletin today, the Meteorological Service of Jamaica said the tropical wave over the southeastern Caribbean Sea continues to move westward towards the island. The wave is currently producing showers and thunderstorms and has the potential to develop further in the coming days. Over the next 48 hours, the system is expected to strengthen into a tropical depression or storm, which could bring unstable weather over Jamaica's territorial waters. The Met Service is advising fisherfolk on the Keys and Banks to evacuate immediately and start returning to the mainland. Other small craft operators in Jamaican waters are being advised to return to port. Operators already in port are being advised against returning to the waters. The Met Service says it will continue to monitor this area of disturbed weather closely, and we will bring you more on this developing story in subsequent newscasts. Continuing with the news tonight, the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce and Industry, in collaboration with the Global Services Association of Jamaica, hosted a forum and luncheon at the Secrets Hotel in Montego Bay earlier today. The forum was held under the theme, Putting Our Workforce in the Center. The event focused on how businesses can strategize, network, and rebuild post the COVID-19 pandemic. The keynote speaker, State Minister in the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Dr. Norman Dunn, said that the employment rate between 2011 and 2022 averaged at 88.7% and reached an all-time high of 94% in the second quarter of this year.
As the global pandemic slows, many of our new companies are upscaling. They are serving larger market segments with improved value propositions, smarter revenue models, and stronger and more enhanced teams. Put together, they represent a total workforce of approximately 1.3 million Jamaicans, according to the latest data from Statin, with male participation in the labor force accounting for approximately 715,000 and female approximately 613,000 individuals. Between 2011 and 2022, Jamaica's employment rate averaged 88.87%, reaching an all-time high of 94% in the second quarter of this year. The Bank of Jamaica projects real GDP growth, an average rate of 3.1% over March 22 to December 2023 quarters, and this marks the 7th consecutive year where there are no increase in net taxes, and the 5th consecutive year where there were no new taxes at all.
Mr. Dunn also added that despite the COVID-19 pandemic, the government was able to provide significant buffers to confront and overcome many potential disastrous social and economic outcomes.
Ladies and gentlemen, this government continues to pursue a bold and ambitious development agenda on behalf of all Jamaicans. We are pleased that despite the pandemic, we were able to provide significant buffers to confront and overcome many potentially disastrous social and economic outcomes with all the care programs that this government instituted. This has strengthened our position in the region as a preferred business destination and has given greater incentive for more Jamaicans to live, work, raise families, and do business and retire in Jamaica. But we are not done yet. The government is restructuring the public sector compensation system. It is far advanced for the 2022 to 2025 period, and we will see public sector workers on the lowest scale earning up to 1.3 million Jamaican dollars per annum, and those at the highest earning up to $24 million per annum, as the government pushes ahead to provide a more equitable and transparent pay and job evaluation system for the public service.
The state minister further said that the government is making $100 million available to the small and medium enterprise sector.
We are making $100 million Jamaican dollars available to the MSME sector to expand their digital footprint under the EXIM e-commerce funder signed last week between EXIM, which is an agency of my ministry, and the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association. The facility will finance up to 80% of the associated costs of critical inputs for MSMEs that are in the process or is interested in trading on the e-commerce platform, because that is the way. It is a medium-term, non-revolving secure loan with up to 3 months moratorium on the principal repayment if required, and the SMEs can access up to $5 million at a rate of 5%. So let that sink in again. 5%.
And those are the stories making news. I am Shelley Hill. Do stay safe, pleasant viewing, and thanks for watching.